So let's talk about tariffs, because if you're like me and you live in the United States, you're not really used to the whole tariff thing. Other people in other countries in FPV are, I think, well adapted to it because their countries do have tariffs on certain countries and so on and so forth. And there's some ins and outs you need to be aware of in this new environment, so you don't get surprised by some email or call indicating that you owe a fee before the thing can be shipped to your house. So as of March 4th, 2025, there has been a 20% tariff on goods from China, and that might fluctuate up and down. I haven't looked, but as far as I'm aware, that's still in place, and that's when it went into place. There used to be a minimum value on a product that was $800, so anything less than $800 would be considered de minimis for the tariff value, and a tariff wouldn't be placed upon it. That, as far as I'm aware, has been removed. So now all products imported in the United States from China, and that's specifically what we're going to be talking about here, are going to have a tariff on it. And of course, the products purchased by shops in the United States like Get FPV, Pyro Drone, Race Day Quads, etc., are subject to these tariffs. And you can see a little article, and I will drop this link down below, or just if you go to the Race Day Quads, they kind of talk about how they're dealing with it, removing, free shipping, going from, $100 of product up to $200. I saw a Pyro Drone did the same thing. I didn't see a big tariff write-up on it, but I'm sure that if I looked hard enough, I'd find it. And then they are listing some products. There's only like 4 products right now that aren't tariff-based. Basically, Lumineer products by Get FPV, I guess, are made in the United States or meet this certification, which is the National Defense Authorization Act. And I don't know all the details with that, but nevertheless, I guess those will be tariff-free, but they're still fairly expensive products. Doesn't mean they're going to be cheaper, of course. But if you decide to go direct to a manufacturer or wholesaler in China for Temu, Banggood, AliExpress, so on and so forth, you may not see that tariff being applied to your checkout order here. That does not mean that you're off the hook and that's going to be a tariff-free product, so be aware of that. All products are going to have tariff applied to them, so FPV equipment is not going to be exempt to that. And obviously, if you purchase within the United States from a reseller within the United States, that tariff scenario has been taken care of already. You don't have to worry about it. But if you are purchasing direct from China and shipping it as a way to, the products are cheaper, before the tariffs applied to it, and you don't see that tariff cost or the increased cost of the product on those websites, or you don't see that tariff fee applied at checkout, that does not mean you're skirting the tariff altogether. The tariff will get applied to the shipper. So that'd be like a UPS, a DHL, so on and so forth. And that product you may check out, it may be shipped, depending, and we'll talk about the value assigned to that here in a second, but that could be shipped and you could think all is in order. And then you will all of a sudden get a phone call or email from UPS, DHL, and alike that will say that you owe a tariff fee or a fee, import fee that has to be paid. They'll give you all the information before that can actually be sent to your home or business or wherever you're going from. Now, I have some direct experience with this in when I did some professional drone tuning for a gentleman in Germany. I shipped back his drone. I had a value assigned to that because of insurance reasons, making sure that if it got lost in the international shipping, we had insurance to cover it. And the value of that drone product was assessed, that rate, that cost or the value of the product that was on the package for the insurance coverage. And then there was a tariff. Germany had a tariff. And this was years and years ago that was placed on. I think it was a 20% tariff at the time. And unfortunately, that was the cost for the gentleman to land it back at his address. Again, DHL, or I think it was actually UPS, could have been FedEx or UPS. I can't remember which the shipper was, but they reached out to myself and to first to him, and then he refused to pay the fee, and then that came back to me, and we worked it out, and he got his product back. But ultimately, just because the product lands in the country it's going to, and you don't pay the tariff up to that point, does not mean that you're home free and it's going to get there. You could get an email or whatnot once it hits the docks and so on and so forth. So that brings up a point that the value or the product listed value for insurance coverage or anything else that you lived on the shipping package, whoever ships it, that is the initial look at what, the value of the product for the tariff. It's a certain percentage of the product value. That's where they're going to initially get that from. Now, it doesn't mean if you just list a product at zero value that you're good. Like, I'm going to buy an expensive $1,000 drone or expensive parts, $500, and list it as zero value and we'll be good to go. Probably if you listed at 0, that's going to trigger a flag. I don't work at a customs things, but I would think if you get this box and it says 0 value, you could, like that doesn't seem right. There got to be some sort of value to this thing, especially knowing where it's coming from, like Banggood or something of that name. So they can open it and look and assess the value on it. They're supposed to have invoice slips associated with it. I am not really sure. It will be interesting to see what companies like Temu, Banggood do to try to skirt the tariff fees. From what I understand, that has happened in the past where the product values are depressed for the shipping and the tariff fee. But now that there's no de minimis value, that $800 threshold, that gave it some wiggle room, actually quite a bit, especially for FPV and if you're buying and custom building drones. But now that it's 0 value, from what I understand, if that's correct, that makes that bar a little bit more difficult, right? Because I guess the best way would be to depress the value. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. So I guess that about sums it up. Just some things I wanted to throw out there for people to consider that, hey, if you're doing a checkout and you don't see that cost, does not mean it's not coming. The shipper could send you that so before the product can actually get shipped to your home or business. And secondarily, that the value that's on the package assigned is important. So if you're shipping things back and forth, between persons, just keep that in mind. The value put on the package at first blush for probably smaller packages is probably what they'll use. That said, it's not a guarantee all the time. Who knows what Banggood and Temu will do in the future? Be interesting. I'm going to probably just order some product just to see what occurs for receiving some things. I need some Express LRS receivers. Sorry, Race Day Quads, get FPV. I usually purchase stuff for you guys, but on this one and Pyro Drone and a bunch of other ones, but on this one, I'm going to get it from them just to see what occurs with this. And I would probably recommend the same to you and see, drop down in the comments what your experiences are. Did it come all the way through? Did you not pay a tariff because it was so small of a value? Did you get something from the shipper, UPS, DHL? A lot of stuff is DHL. That you had to pay the tariff, things of that nature. So it'll be interesting to see the actual effects of this, whether their tariffs are on or off this week or next week. But as far as I'm aware, the tariffs on China as of the making of this video are still in place at a fairly substantial amount. It does not seem like there is any specific de minimis value anymore, and it does not seem like there's any easy way to kind of skirt around them for these smaller orders products. I would love to see your experiences and input down below. Love to see some comments and some conversation on this. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put those down below as well. Thanks everybody, and I hope this helped.